Hang up. All right, YouTube. Let's talk about what happened at the Oscars and tell you what entitlement is. Mr. Entanglement sacrificed at the Oscars. First of all, Will Smith, for the last 2 years, been being humiliated and emasculated in public. And I'm going to tell you how. Jada Smith introduced their sexual life and their sexual preferences to the general public in her red table, whatever. She talked about how she had her entanglement with August Alsina. She talked about how much she loved Tupac and how Tupac was the strongest man ever. Will goes on a Breakfast Club to talk about how he was intimidated by Tupac. And it goes on and on with this emasculation. I'm going to tell you why it's emasculation. No real man wants to ever hear his woman talk about how she was in love with another man, and that's the strongest man that she's ever known, the smartest man she's ever known. But he had to listen to this, and the world listened to it. They opened up their bedroom door about their so-called open marriage. First of all, God said, let no man put asunder what he's joined together. The bedroom of a married couple is sacred. So they parade Will Smith and Jada Pinkett as this power black couple with all a dysfunctional shit in their family. You know what I mean? With their son coming out, talking about Tyler, the creator, is his lover, their daughter going through all of this. And Hollywood presents them as if they're this powerful couple. First of all, Will got off into Hollywood with the movie 6 Degrees of Separation, where he simulated being screwed by a white man in the bed. Denzel and all the other actors had already turned that part down once they read the script. So this was his way into Hollywood to emasculate himself publicly in front of the world. And it's interesting. He pursued Jada when his career is on the rise and her career was on the rise. So she married him as a co-partnership to get into Hollywood. And we're going to go deep. We're going to go real deep. He slaps Chris Rock. Chris Rock, of all people, he slapped at the Oscars that Will Packard is hosting. Look behind the scenes. Look behind the scenes. For 2 years, he's been being dragged. No man, no black man looks at Will Smith and says, oh, even with all his money, I don't want to be Will Smith. I don't want my wife to come out on a red table and say she had an entanglement with my son's friend in my home. He makes a song about it. Then he comes on and tries to justify we have an open marriage. What is an open marriage? If your marriage is open, why are you married? You know, you got all these women now saying, okay, he slapped Chris Rock. He was defending black women. I live in Detroit. You know how many black women were killed in Detroit since Friday night? How many black women being killed across the country? Young thugs, girlfriend killed at a bowling alley. All these missing girls. How could an off-the-cuff joke about G.I. Jane do anything to protect black women? But black women is in the uproar. Oh, he defended his woman's honor. How could he defend her honor when she has no honor? She's a queen. How is she a queen? When allegedly she screwed sickly August Alsina, Jaden's friend, and ran around town with him in this so-called open marriage. And they want black men to look at him as something they should be. It's okay to let your wife screw other people. It's okay to let your children be gender fluid. It's okay to do all this as long as you're making money. So let's get back to the Oscars. You got a world stage. They was even viewing from Australia and Japan to see black people lose control and resort to violence about an off-the-cuff joke. Think about this. Think about, was the joke really a bad joke? G.I. Jane was a bad broad. Bald-headed at all when Demi Moore played it. So a black G.I. Jane would have been a box office smash with Jada playing that. Chris Rock wasn't even being disrespectful. He probably didn't know she had alopecia, which is common, with dry scalp and whatever. He made the joke that he didn't even write. But Will, after all this dragging that he'd been going through, after all the questions about his manhood, he picks this night when Will Packer is hosting Oscars to slap Chris Rock, of all people, about a joke. Anybody who ever went to a comedy show knows if you sit in the front row, you're open game. But we're going to go deeper with this. He apologizes 2 days later and say how emotional he is. Of course you're emotional. You married a woman who was in love with the dream and memory of another man. She always compared you to Tupac, the total opposite of you. But you wanted her so bad that you did everything you could to pursue her and romance her and make her your wife. And I bet you she brought this open marriage to the table because you was not going to ever be able to satisfy her. First of all, when you did the movie 6 Degrees of Separation, a part that I told you, Denzel and everybody else turned down, and you emulated having sex and being the bottom with a Caucasian man for the world to see. Why did you take that part for that B-rated movie? Why are you up and down Hollywood Boulevard being gender fluid? And they keep trying to promote you as this successful black man when you really are not that. A lot of people don't like Chris Rock because his comedy is satire and it goes over a lot of people's head. Have you ever seen, or I mean not seen, or read in the Bible about John the Baptist? Why was John the Baptist beheaded in the Bible? If you read the Bible, it says that King Herod liked a woman named Salome, and he had Salome dance for him. And he asked Salome to be his woman and said he would give her anything that she wanted if she be his woman. And she said, bring me the head of John the Baptist, Jesus' cousin. So they went and got John the Baptist and they beheaded him. Look at another story in the Bible about Joseph in Pharaoh's house. When Joseph rejected Pharaoh's wife, Joseph was thrown in prison. I'm giving you these parallels to show you why I say that he was sacrificed in a humiliation ritual. This woman has been humiliating him in front of the world. She's been envying his success, trying to compete with him in being successful. And they go to the Oscars. She wears a green dress. They already know what Chris Rock is going to say. Will laughs when he hears the joke. But when everybody else starts laughing, he looks at her and sees her face. And immediately all his emotion, all his femininity that he's picked up from her with this open marriage, this open lifestyle, implodes on him. And he feels that the whole world is laughing at him and not laughing with him. So he saunters up there and slaps Chris Rock. Then you hear black women saying, oh, he stood up for the honor of black women. How many black women is somewhere with their husband and with their man, and because somebody's make a joke, they're going to let their husband go get into a fight or kill somebody out here in the street? A real woman is going to grab your arm and say, baby, don't pay no attention to that. That ain't nothing, and going to pull you away from that. A woman that don't care nothing about you, that's been humiliating you for the last several years and talking about how you can't satisfy her and exposing all your weaknesses to the world, is going to sacrifice you for the Hollywood humiliation ritual and the spectacle that it became. Because now August Alstina is coming up. Look at all the memes. Look at all the memes. It's okay for you to bang my wife, but just don't call her G.I. Jane. Look at all the memes. Look at all the humiliation he's back going through. And now she's on Instagram talking about a healing. Who has to heal, Jada? Heal from what? See, Tupac knew her in Baltimore. Yeah, in Baltimore, Maryland. He knew her. She could have never been his woman because he knew how ambitious and cutthroat she was. That's why they was running buddies, and that's why they was partners. She found a man that loved her more than she loved him. And they joined forces in Hollywood to become the so-called power couple. What's powerful about it? What's powerful about a man being so emotional that he clowns himself on a world stage? Why does she have a red table that represents blood and come to this red table and exposes all their bedroom secrets? She tell the world there's no sanctity in this marriage. There's really no love in this marriage. She goes so deep to where she actually sleeps with her son's friend, a young, sickly August Alsina. Everybody gave her a pass. She said she mad at Chris Rock because of something he said in 2016 about she's boycotting the Oscars. And he said that's like boycotting something that you wasn't invited to. She's in competition with Will. She's playing Will like a bro. And he's playing himself like a bro. And you got all these black women, and they come on there and say, oh, he defended her honor. How did he defend his wife's honor? When he agreed to having an open marriage with her, and it was okay with her sleeping with his son's friend in a home and running through Hollywood with her. He's okay with living in the image of Tupac Shakur. He goes on the Breakfast Club and tells about how intimidated he was about a memory of a man that she loved more than him. So for her to take center stage, she sacrifices his dignity even more, because now she's on Instagram, as I said, talking about a healing. I wouldn't allow no man to disrespect my woman. But if I take my woman to a comedy show and we sit in the front row and he crack a joke about me or her, I'm going to crack a joke back. And that's all I'm going to do. Because I signed on for this when I went to the comedy show and I sat in the front row. And in the meantime, with black people, Joe Biden says it's going to be a food shortage. Black people empathizing with Ukraine, but they telling the people that volunteers to go over to Ukraine, don't be offended if they call you the N-word. Don't be offended if you see the kids playing in blackface. Don't be offended that you go into a country that is racist and don't even view you as equal. They look at you as subhuman. But black people following along again. They follow every narrative. You have black women following Kamala Harris with Joe Biden, with these racists, with these people that created all these crime bills that locked all these black people up. Because she was a female, and all of a sudden, she decides when she becomes a politician, now she wants to identify as being black. It ain't nothing black about it. So they go and they say, well, black men, if you following Trump or whatever, you wrong, you misogynistic, you don't like women or whatever. It's because no, for real black men, we knew what Joe Biden was. We knew that Jim Crow Joe was a racist, way more racist than Donald Trump. And we knew what Kamala Harris had been doing in California. But they needed an agenda pushed. They needed to put the Democrats into the White House. When Trump told you that Hunter Bush, Hunter Biden, whatever, the one that they keep catching smoking crack, was over there getting all that money in the Ukraine, and they had all the money tied up in Ukraine, you called him a lie. When Trump told you that the jab and all that pandemic came out of China, you called that a lie. And it came out. When he told you it was a deep state, all that came out. Everything that he was saying that sounded so ridiculous proved to be facts. So people keep saying conspiracy theories. Do you think for 1 minute that what Will Smith did with everything that's going on in the world, a pandemic, a war, a food shortage, gas prices, all this that's going on in the world, he picks to take a stand about a joke that wasn't even a bad joke? And then you got all these women in an uproar. He stood up and he defended women. That's all you women that said that is women who ain't got no man. Because what woman would want to see her man risk everything, risk his life, his career, and everything about a joke on her? How egotistical and maniacal can you be to think that that's acceptable? A real woman off the dribble would have grabbed a man. Hold on, what you finna do? Don't do that. Because when you slap a man, you better be ready to kill him. That's the worst thing you can do to a man, is slap him. You slap a man, he's supposed to kill you in that instance. But he picked the right one in Chris Rock. And he picked the right platform to do it in. So the ones who say, oh, he was defending women, is this what you really want? You want black men to continue to resolve and handle their issues with violence? Okay, I'm bald-headed. Somebody make a joke. Oh, look at this bald-headed guy. Do that give me the right to slap them or put my hands on them? The world seen that. It was humiliating for black people in general. The first time a black man hosts and produces the Oscars, that's what we do. And then he parties and he dances after, and they show you all that. And Denzel is consoling Will, and Tyler Perry is consoling Will. Chris Rock is the one that got slapped. He's the one that got assaulted. Who consoled Chris and asked Chris how he was doing? Who? So that was very entertaining for a lot of you people, because y'all don't realize what you've seen. What you've seen was a man who's been humiliated for the last 2 years take a stand that was going to create more ridicule and more gossip and slander about him. Because what men are still saying is, why you didn't slap August Alstina? He was the one that was posing as your son's friend while he was sleeping with your wife. And you keep wanting to say, oh, they have an open marriage and we are doing this. They are disgusting. You want to sit up and say they represent a black power couple? No, they don't. They represent Hollywood. Anytime you got an open marriage and your kids is gender fluid, and then your wife creates a red table where she puts all your bedroom antics for the world to see. And then at the climax of your career, on the day you get an Oscar, that's your day, you're triggered into doing something so unmanly, so uncivilized, so undignified. On the day you get an Oscar, you choose to slap a fellow comedian, somebody you know, about an off-the-cuff joke while she sits there and smirks. And now it's about her and the women that sympathize with her and sees her as some type of standard of anything. For real? For real. Jada, what honor do she have? Because she's a star, she played in some movies or this, that, and other. Where is her honor? You can't make this make sense that she has honor. And she smirked and she rolled her eyes and she felt some type of way. And they played on y'all. And they got women up in arms again, calling. I got old ladies calling me, talking about, what do you feel about Will slapping Chris Rock? I feel it was the weakest thing he could ever do. It was the weakest thing he could ever do. He was supposed to laugh that off like he laughed off her sleeping with Augustine, or whatever his name is. He's supposed to laugh it off like he did then. He's supposed to continue to be the joke that he's always been. He takes a stand and he does that. And now, black people, y'all want to see issues resolved in violence. Y'all want violence again. Now y'all want violence. Y'all want the world to see that you can't take niggas nowhere. And it played out right before you again. You ain't paying attention to what Biden said about a food shortage. When the president tells you it's going to be a food shortage, that means they're going to run out of food. And when people run out of food and people get hungry, crime increases, violence increases, danger increases. You ain't thinking about that. All these new strains of COVID, you're not thinking about that. A war going on to where it could potentially end in a nuclear war. Because they telling you, oh, the Ukrainians, they putting up a good fight and they're beating the Russians. If they beating the Russians, why they keep begging and crying for help? If they win it, when have you seen anybody ever win keep saying, I need help? I'm winning, but I still need help. It's because Russia is kicking their back in. They sitting up there talking about they can impose sanctions on China. How you going to impose sanctions on China and you in debt to China for trillions of dollars? Everything that you got says made in China. Black people listening, they don't even consider what is sanctions. Sanctions mean, oh, I don't do business with you. They don't care about you doing business with you. You owe me money. How you going to stop now? How you going to stop doing business with me and you owe me money? They told Russia, we're going to impose sanctions on you. But all of Europe and most of the world gets their oil and gas from Russia. So you know what Russia says? Okay, y'all got sanctions. Y'all want to buy some gas and y'all want to buy some oil from me? You can only pay me in rubles. I'm not accepting no euros and I'm not accepting no dollars for this. So that means the United States and Europe have to pay to buy rubles, then give the rubles back to Russia while you passing the pump and it's $5. You go into the store and in a minute, a loaf of bread is going to cost $5, but you still ain't going to get no raise. You won't be paying more to drive your car to work than you damn near making under Biden. With all your entertainment, because you keep being manipulated and ain't really seeing what you're seeing. What you're seeing is black people still being a minstrel show for the world to see. They're giving Ukrainians $100,000 as soon as they come to the country. They're giving the Mexicans that's coming over here thousands and thousands of dollars. They giving the refugees and illegal aliens more money than you make in a year. They coming in the door making you a third-class citizen. And you still laughing and you still talking about what you see on TV with these Hollywood weirdos who created a distraction for you. And your image is still being tarnished. Do you think Will Smith makes a black man feel proud about what he did? Now you got a lot of old suckers that's out there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna defend the one. First of all, there used to be a time to when a black man ruled the house and controlled the house, and he could tell his daughter, "Look, you can't wear that outside. You can't wear lipstick or fingernail polish this color until you're 17." His woman would come, "Baby, do you think this is appropriate for me to wear outside? Am I showing too much cleavage?" They strip the power from you, from the black man, empower the woman, and then she starts to join on with Massa and talk about how black men ain't shit. And now she screams, "I'm the most unprotected woman in the world." Yeah, you is. Because the men that would have protected you don't want to be around you and can't stand you because you talk too much and everything that come out your mouth sounds like the white man, sounds like the oppressor. And I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about a select few. I'm talking about those ones who love to see a black man be slapped in front of the world. I'm talking about you because you don't have no man. And the men that's talking about how they will go out there and they gonna defend women or whatever, I guarantee you suckers not gonna do nothing, because them skinny jean shooters out there that's killing everybody and doing everything, you ain't got nothing to say to them. You ain't got nothing to say to the drill rappers. You ain't got nothing to say to them skinny jean boys that's jacking at the gas stations and at the store, that's running up in people's houses. You have nothing to say to them. You want a soft target. Just like Will Smith, he picked a soft target. You're not going to defend no woman against no real guy. You don't care what he's doing. You're going to size that guy up. And if you see he's serious and he's the type of guy that's going to take your head off, what you're going to do is go somewhere and get on your phone and call the police. But you're not jumping in. I could tell because you're a sucker because you don't even realize what you're seeing. Jada turned up her nose and signaled him that she was so dissatisfied, and he has been so impotent in a relationship that he had to do something, even though it was a sucker move. On the night that he's getting the Oscar, this is what he do, because she has alopecia, and then he cries. I'm so sick of these black men getting on here crying and boo-hooing and ain't been through nothing. For real, for real. Y'all cry more than the nigga in jail. You're so emotional. You just so emotional that you imploding, and you ain't even think why you so emotional. Because I don't think that a man that's that emotional can even handle an open marriage. You too emotional. You care more about the joke than you care about somebody banging her, somebody with her legs on their shoulders, a little boy. You is a weirdo, man. You is a weirdo. And you people that's saying that he should have slapped Chris Rock, y'all weirdos. Because any real man knows that if you slap a man, he's supposed to kill you. Again, he picked a soft target. And those guys that's on there talking about what they'll do if they see something, they looking for soft targets. They not running up on those soldiers. Not at all. They gonna look for a soft target. Trust and believe that. Because they ain't never did it before. It's easy to talk about you bust a gun or you'll use your blicky when you ain't never did it. It's easy to go to a shooting range and shoot at a piece of paper because that paper ain't gonna shoot back. It's easy to do all that. But when push come to shove, everybody that has those type of mindsets, y'all looking for a soft target. Y'all looking for something that don't hit back, shoot back, or bite back. Because if you had ever been down those type of roads and those type of dark alleys, you would know that's some place that you don't want to really be. And you can't expect men to cover you when they don't cover you. This supposed to be Christian nation and all that. How you so-called Christians are all right with gender fluid children, open marriages? An ex-felon can't change his life, but a man can change his gender. And you accept that. You accept that over a person changing their life. And you don't realize that your prayers is hollow. Your prayers is hollow because you don't worship God, you worship the devil all day long. All day long. Just like the people that screamed crucified when they was crucifying Jesus. Because some of you was really thrilled to see Chris Rock be slapped. What did Chris Rock do to deserve to be slapped and to be humiliated in front of the world? By this gender fluid guy. And this harlot of a wife. Really? Really? And I know a lot of you women that saying, oh, y'all don't have no man. Y'all don't have no man. And if you got one and he was okay with that and he support that, he really ain't no man and he ain't gonna protect you. He just saying he will. Because he gonna walk up and he gonna slap a man. For real? Where they do that at? I live in Detroit. I see guys get smoked all day, every day, for a whole lot less than that. A whole lot less than that. But y'all want to resolve y'all things in violence because they gave you a show and now you're calling for violence instead of condemning violence. It's just like you people on Facebook. All week long you dissing people. And you sneak dissing and you saying all these type of things until something pop off and then it's pray for me. Oh, this was a loss. Somebody just got their wings. Them suckers ain't got their wings. If you believe in heaven and hell, what make you think Pookie and Ray Ray went to heaven? What make you think that ratchet ass guy went to heaven? If you believe in heaven and hell. He been a crook, a shammer, and a cutthroat his whole life. And then when he gets smoked and he get popped, you saying he got his wings, right? You people is brainwashed. Y'all brainwashed. Y'all see y'all president suffering from straight up dementia. Most of y'all have grandparents who y'all seen with dementia. You see him suffering from dementia right in front of you. And you don't say nothing. You see him pass a bill for Asians. You see him passing all these bills helping everybody. But he rolled the election on the back of black voters. And came straight in the door and said, I'm not going to do nothing for y'all. You better learn how to get along with the Mexicans because they're the future. And then he opened the borders and gave him some money to show you. Do you think the white people ever going to put black people in a real position to be in power in their country? After everything they did? Study history, read the Bible. Pharaoh dealt with the children of Israel wisely because he knew he had enslaved them. He never wanted them to get power because they might do to him what he had been doing to them. This is why they don't want you to have critical race theory in schools. This is why they're erasing your history. This is why they're destroying the middle class. This is why they're letting your children purge each other on a daily basis. And you ain't saying nothing because you still worried about what Will and Jada doing. But your kids is being purged. And your old people that's catching COVID and dying from the pandemic, what's going on with your mind that you can't see through this shit and see that this shit is by design to keep you distracted, to keep you thinking ignorant, to keep you not being powerful, to keep you always on something stupid. I'm listening to grown women saying it's okay for him to slap a man. But that's the first thing that you teach your child when you send them off to school. You teach your child, don't put your hands on nobody unless they put their hands on you. That's what you teach your children, to keep them safe and to keep them from being hurt. So now you want black men to be out here every time somebody say something and they so sensitive that they got to react violently to a joke or a remark. Don't they kill each other enough? Don't they kill each other enough about bullshit? But then you sympathizing with the Ukrainians who look at you as subhuman. You voted a president in that called you roaches and said that your children going to his school with his children would be a jungle. You sitting up here, and you acting blind, and you acting ignorant, and you chasing an illusion. They medicating all y'all. They got something for you. If you feel a certain way, I'm unhappy, give me a pill. Spraying the weed with chemicals, promoting alcoholism, drugs, all of this. They got you so swamped in to where you can look at something on TV live and not even understand what you're looking at. You looked at a black man who has been humiliated for 2 years straight, humiliate another black man who's been being humiliated, period. Where do you see the strength in that? Where do you see the power in that? This is my question. On that note, to the women, if you thought he was defending Jada Smith's honor, you done. Because don't no man have a wife so he can have an open marriage. You know that. On a psychological and a spiritual level, you know that no man has a wife so that he can share her with other men. And vice versa. Because once he does that, then there is no honor. There is no real protection. Do you think him slapping Chris Rock protects her? Because people is disgusted at them. And Chris Rock got plenty of fans. There's plenty of people that don't like them. So what do you got to do now? He got to beef up security. He got to deal with all the memes that he's seeing now. Now they done open back up the thing with August Alsina again. Now people is talking about their bedroom again. Now people is talking about how disgusting it is. Now black people are divided again. They divided again. Because you got this side, oh, he was right. You got this side, he was right. And all it is about violence for real. Do we react to each other in violence? Everything that you see is about violence. You listen to the drill rappers, it's about violence. Listen to the music. You go see a movie, you go because you want to see the violence. Is violence what you want? It gotta be, because that's what you get all day. That's what you get all day. Now they're giving it to you at the Oscars. What's next? What's next? We already got violence in the church. We already got domestic violence in the home. We already got violence in the street. We already think violent. We already got these people who so broken by relationships that, oh, I don't need a man. If you don't need a man, why you got to say it? Don't nobody care. Go get a woman. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? You got a man saying he don't need a woman? That's on him. Who cares? What is this need? What is this need to be validated in your dysfunction? You want your dysfunction validated. You want something to make you feel like your dysfunction is normal because everybody else is doing it. To where you can sit there and you can look at something like what you've seen and not see what it is. And not see that these people in Hollywood that you look up to are degenerates. They are degenerates. Y'all love the red table. Y'all love the red table. When she sit there and opens up about her entanglements. You see her husband come to the red table and cries. I'm tired of seeing these crying ass Negroes. Every time they look up, they crying. They do shit and then they cry. Then he come out the next day and apologize. Weak, 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 degenerate behavior. I know a lot of people ain't on agree with me on this or whatever, but look at your life. They've eliminated the middle class. Everybody is working poor unless you're rich. If you got to go to work and work a job to sustain yourself, you're poor. Off the dribble. But if you got $5 more than your neighbor, then you'll look down on them. You rent your home, you lease your car, you buy everything on credit, you worse than poor. You in debt. But you still got time to weigh in on the dysfunctionality of some Holly weirdos. And you embrace that, and you bring it home, and you debate with your siblings, and you debate with this person, because that's important to you, because the shit that's going on around you ain't important. The missing black children ain't important. Food shortage ain't important. You ignorant, you blind, and you can't see. And I'm gonna end this on that. You need to think about what's really going on.